Hello, good afternoon. The YouTube algorithm has brought you to me. My name is Alex Dalrymple. This is my channel, Four Wheels and a Seat, where I review new cars every week for people who are looking to buy a new car and maybe don't know which one to get. I can help you out with a simple, straightforward review. Make sure you don't miss an episode though. Please do hit the subscribe button down below, the notification bell, and if you enjoyed the video, give me a like. In the last 18 months, Mazda have completely reinvigorated their SUV lineup. They now have a total of 7 different models across 3 different product sizes. And the latest to join the party is this, the not quite mid-size, not quite large CX-80. So the CX-80 is based on the smaller CX-60, although this car has 7 seats where the 60 only has 5, but it is longer. It shares the same length wheelbase as the larger CX-70 and CX-90, but overall is a little bit shorter. It was really designed to replace the CX-8. And honestly, really, it is really hard to tell all of these new SUVs apart because they all do look pretty much exactly the same at a glance. So looking at the front end, pretty much the same as the new CX models, big, flat, aggressive grille, big Mazda badge, same light cluster design. This mid-spec Touring sits on 18-inch dark alloy wheels and they look pretty good. At the back, we've got the same BMW-esque design. It looks quite premium. Under the powered tailgate is a 169-litre storage space if you have all 3 rows of seats up. Knock down the back row, that expands to 566 litres. If you've got both rear rows down, it expands to just under 2,000 litres. Up front and in the engine bay, it's the same story as the other new SUVs, so you'll find a mild hybrid 3.3 litre turbocharged straight 6. This one is petrol powered and generates 209 kilowatts of power and 450 newton meters of torque. Fuel economy clocks in at an average of 8.4 litres per 100 kilometres on a combined cycle. I've been getting about 9.3 this week. Power goes to all 4 wheels via a 8-speed automatic transmission. And just to further prove the point that these cars are incredibly similar, it's the same with the interior. It looks pretty much identical to the other new Mazda SUVs. And that's not a bad thing because it's a really nice design, but it's only when you actually step out of a CX-70 or CX-90 and go straight into one of these that you notice that the CX-80 is a little bit narrower than those cars. It's not hugely thinner, it's only sort of 10 centimeters. But that addresses one of the main criticisms of this car's predecessor, the CX-8, which had a real lack of interior space. They've really widened things up for the CX-80. In terms of interior tech, well, we get the smaller center console screen here. It's only 10 inches, but that's not a big loss because the software on it doesn't really need a bigger screen, to be honest. It is a little bit behind the times compared to some car makers in that there are no user installable apps, so you're not going to be watching Netflix or YouTube on this system. And to be honest, I'd be relying mostly on the wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Major issue though, which is the same issue I had with the entry-level CX-90 I drove, is that this is not a touchscreen at all. The larger Mazda screens will operate as a touchscreen when you're using Apple CarPlay, but not when you're using the native software. However, the entry-level models don't get a touchscreen at all, and everything has to be done via the jog wheel, which is really annoying with Apple CarPlay because it is just not designed to be worked that way at all, and it's a really quite frustrating experience. There's an 8-speaker sound system in this car, and it is noticeably not as good as the Bose system you get in the upper spec models. Climate control staying completely out of the center screen, operated entirely by this bank of buttons here in the middle. That's just the way it should be. All of the new Mazda SUVs have this weird gear shifter down here, which I hated at first, but I'm actually finally used to it now. It's sort of like an upside down J-gate with park over here to the right. So you've got to go over to the left and down to put it into drive and do the reverse to put it in park. Takes a bit of getting used to, but I'm fine with it now. Head-up display, really nice and bright, passes the polarized sunglasses test, and you can configure a few different things to be displayed on there. The instrument cluster is a hybrid digital analog unit. The upper spec cars get a full digital screen, but this particular layout is actually pretty good. You can customize a couple of things on the center screen. There's a few different display modes, but there's not really a heck of a lot going on here, but it is really easy to understand and very simple and clear to look at a glance. Here in the mid-spec Touring, we get leather seats that are heated, not ventilated though, unfortunately. Full electric adjustment for the driver and front passenger, plus lumbar support. Very comfortable. Driving position is excellent. You sit nice and low in the cabin, but that does not affect your vision out the front at all. I can see right to the front corners of the bonnet, and everything is really clear all around the glass house. Blind spot monitors in the wing mirrors, and you've got good vision there anyway when you turn your head. So Mazda are really, really good at providing drivers with a comfortable, sporty feeling driving experience. What does it feel like to drive compared to the diesel model? Well, I haven't driven the diesel CX-80, but I have driven the diesel CX-70. And to be honest, this feels a little more refined. It's a bit quieter, and that's sort of to be expected with the diesel engine, I suppose. The petrol one, you don't really hear much from at all, except when you put your foot down, but the responsiveness of the engine, and it's the same for the diesel, is really, really good. It's really quick off the mark, dynamically fantastic to drive. You never feel unstable or uncertain about where the car is going to go. You can take the corners at speed with a great deal of confidence. There's a 2.5 ton brake towing capacity, so this car does actually have its chops as far as using it in a practical sporty sense. It's not just for moving the family around, although with 7 seats it is really good at doing that as well, although the third row seating is a little bit limited in its space. It's never great in any car though, to be honest. Is the CX-80 a turn-back car, a car so good looking that you have to turn back and look at it after you've parked it? Yep, sure is. Just like the rest of Mazda's new SUV lineup, they all look really good. They're eye-catching. I'm still not seeing a huge number of them on the road. There are still so many of the old CX-5s, which you can still buy, and the old CX-8 and CX-9s, that you do see a lot more of those than you do see these new cars. But mind you, they've only been available for 18 months. The CX-80's only been out for about 3 months, I think. So give it time, you will start seeing more of them on the road. And the look is noticeably a bit more aggressive, but at the same time a little bit more Euro and a bit more refined than the previous Mazdas. Quite a neat trick that they can actually pull that off. So with 7 different SUVs across 3 different sizes, and then there's 3 different grades in each of those models, plus you can choose between petrol or diesel, Mazda's SUV lineup is comprehensive, to say the least. Which one should you choose? Well, I can't even begin to answer that question for you. You have to work that out for yourself based on what you need and what you want and what you can afford. The one thing that does make it easier, I guess, is the fact that they all look the same. But no matter which one you choose, you're not really going to go that far wrong because all of them are great.